Um, a lot of people think that I'm making some kind of judgment about these diptychs. Like, I've read articles and blogs and things like that, and people think that I'm like judging this against that. And to me, I'm just fascinated at how fate and circumstances and environment mold us into who we've become. It's so interesting to me that the two girls can grow up in this country. One becomes a Catholic nun, and the other one becomes a prostitute. I mean, what happened to them in their childhood that this came about? Are they happy now? Are they fulfilled now? I mean, these are the kind of things that interest me. I could care less about who's good or who's bad. I mean, I don't even think about that. It's just such a fascinating story of two little girls growing up that can go in these different directions, and that's what drives me to do these diptychs, and that's why they're diptychs, really. All I'm trying to do is point out these ironies and just start a conversation. I'm not saying anything about either of these people. Now, I've had people ask me, how do I deal with my conscience with some of these pairings? Like when I take a white supremacist and I put him next to a Baptist churchgoer, it may seem cruel, but to me, everyone that I photographed knew that they were going to end up in a book, or their photo might end up in a book. They all appear just as they did that day. I didn't style them or change who they were. The fact that they're placed next to each other doesn't change anything about anything. It almost reinforces who they are rather than changes it. So I have no problem putting these two together. In fact, I've had the opportunity to show some of these diptychs to people that are in the book, and their first reaction might be like, "Why'd you put me next to that freak?" But once they get over that, which doesn't take long, they love it, and they show it to all their friends, and they think the whole thing is great. So it's not like this is like such a damning thing that you put a nun next to a prostitute. And nuns work with prostitutes probably in their jobs sometimes. So I don't see that as a big deal. My sister got really upset, like, how can you put a prostitute next to a nun? I'm like, well, what am I doing exactly? What exactly do you think I'm doing by putting a nun next to a prostitute? Am I saying that nuns are bad, or I'm not saying anything other than this is interesting that two girls can grow up into these different careers. Now, some people might feel uncomfortable with some of these diptychs. Like I put a trick-or-treater next to a pedophile. It might seem like I'm trying to be controversial, but for me, I'm simply showing that innocent people get taken advantage of in this country all the time. I mean, if you look at a Megan's List website, there's so much of this stuff that goes on, and it's just horrible. It's like, we can all pretend that our city is beautiful and wholesome and lovely, but man, there's so much crap like this that goes on. It's like I just felt the need to like put our nose in it a little bit and just say, hey, this goes on. I'm not making this stuff up. Life can be horrible and tragic, and life can be wonderful and beautiful at the same time. And that's what makes the world go around. These portraits just reflect that reality to me. That's why the theme of the diptychs and Created Equal, they change from time to time. Everybody thinks it's about good and evil or good and bad or something. To me, it's just about two pictures that work together, and everyone's different. Some of them are, about body language. Some of them are about, good and bad. Some are about, the theme is like could be age, could be wealth, could be anything. But as I said, sometimes life is happy, sometimes it's tragic, sometimes it's stupid, and the diptychs are the same. Sometimes they're poignant and interesting, and sometimes they're life-affirming, and sometimes they're just stupid. And the stupid ones are as interesting to me as the poignant ones.